And we went backstage and we walked in and it was like Guetta, Ingrosso, Calvin Harris, Afrojack, like all of them in this room, which is like as big as the office that I'm in now, surrounded by women, like just surrounded. I was in his green room backstage and I was pouring in tequila with my buddy Kyle, and the door opens, there's no one else in there, and this guy goes, "Can I have one of those?" And I turn around and it's Lewis Hamilton, and I lost it. My feeling is trading will teach you more about yourself than anything else. Like if you're a new trader, you probably don't think you're greedy. You probably are. You just haven't been put in a place where you can be, right? You probably think you're good at risk management. You're not.
The toxicity of social media, it makes you disingenuous to your trading. It makes you more degenerate with your trading when everyone's winning and all you're doing is chasing wins instead of buying in on the process.
Like if you're that guy who should be holding your wife's hand and you're on your phone all the time, there's a problem there. You need to look at it, because you should be doing this for freedom, financial and time freedom. And if those aren't in alignment, you're going to lose more than some money. You know, we had Ross Cameron on a private channel and we'd be taking the other side of him when we knew he was getting it.
Yes, dude. What's up, traders? Welcome back to the podcast. I've got Alex, the Flowzone trader, here in the building. Alex, we got to go back. We're already deep into a conversation before I started the recording. First, buddy, how you doing?
Coming
in from LA,
Thank
how
you
you
for
feeling?
having me on. Yeah, I'm doing great. Doing great.
Dude, I wish we could do this in person. I know we were going to try to link up in October when I'm there, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out. Maybe. We'll see if we can do something. But let's do it, bro. Let's do your story first, and then we'll talk Flowzone, because I really am interested in the strategy. You said that, you've lived in London. You now are in LA. But before trading, you were a DJ. And my audience knows that I was. But tell me about your career as a DJ. What were you doing? Because you said a pretty high-level, high-profile DJ.
Yeah, so I went to university. I did the usual thing. You go to university, late teens, and I graduated in sports psychology. And then, that was like coming into like the major recession. There were no real jobs out there. And I ended up working in the club world and like putting on my own nights and working the doors. And then I'd be like the early resident DJ, paying your dues as you do.
100%, bro.
And then, I formed a duo with like a guy, still my best friend, like Stefan. And we started in 2011 and we had our first like hit by 2014.
What was the duo's name?
Tough Love.
And Tough Love. Dude, I definitely have heard something that you've made.
Yeah.
What is the song that went crazy?
It's probably, there's normally two of them. Like the first one that was a hit for us was a song called So Frickin' Tight, which went number one in the UK dance chart and top 40. And then our second one was with Genuine. We redid Pony.
That's what it was, bro. I've definitely heard that remix. That's crazy.
Yeah. So off the back of that, we've probably put out like in a 10-year span, we probably put out, 100 plus records, and we were doing remixes for Katy Perry and Jamiroquai, and literally we were touring the world. It was like an insane life. It was a pinch yourself moment. I've been to every country there is going, with Russia, Ukraine, Australia, China, South America. For 10 years, I had a residency in all the big clubs in Ibiza. But obviously with that time, it was pretty lucrative. Cash flow was good. And when I started that career, I was living with an old friend from university who was originally a trader at Morgan Stanley, and then he left and he was trading precious metals at Standard Bank. So like we were always like into it together. He obviously did it as a profession. It kind of goes in the blood for me. Like I've got family members in it. So it's always something I was interested in. So being young and stupid and cash rich, I started doing what everyone does, right? Your first sort of route in, playing spread betting and then this, that, and the other. And I was like, man, I need to take this a bit more seriously. So I actually, before all that happened, I went and interviewed for Morgan Stanley when I was like 21. And I sat down with the head trader of emerging markets, a guy called Marwan. And he was like, if you want to do this, you need to read this book. And he put, I think you might have had him on the show, Jack Schwager, Market Wizards. He put that in my hand and I was like, okay, And I kept that, and I lived with that. And after that, I was, I really wanted to be in the industry before I became a DJ, and so I was like interviewing everywhere, Deutsche Bank, and I eventually got offered a job out in Dubai. But by that time, my career was taking off. So like I was like, hey, I'm going to ride this wave DJing for a while, and we'll see where it goes. And that took.
Where did it go? Hey traders, a quick break from the podcast to thank our sponsors. First, Top One Futures. They've been a sponsor of this show for a very long time. Most of you have already tried Top One Futures using my discount code. But now they've dropped these new accounts. They're called Pro accounts. They are instant funded accounts, so you don't have to waste time in a challenge. They have an intraday trailing drawdown instead of an end of day trailing drawdown, but they offer you the capacity to scale the business for $10, $15, $20,000 payouts all in one go, depending on how many accounts you're copy trading. So head to top1futures.com. There's a link below. Use the code ASFX if you do buy anything. That'll add 5% extra on whatever their best discount is at the time. So use the code ASFX. Head to the website, read the FAQ, read the rules, make sure they're a good fit for you, but definitely consider checking out these pro accounts. So far, everyone's loving it, and I think you will too. Our second sponsor for today is TradeZella. You can now use the code ASFX to save 20% on any membership plan that they offer. That's going to be the number one place for you to start if you're looking to journal your trades and track your data correctly. It's way beyond just taking a picture of your trade and putting a couple of text bubbles on it. It's actually going to give you the data telling you where to make improvements, where you're doing well, and it's also going to tell you where your weak points are and where you need to hopefully cut some of the fat to make your trading more profitable. So if you haven't checked out TradeZella already, there's a link down in the description. Use the code ASFX and that'll save you 20%.
Yeah, I mean, we were signed to like William Morris, like the biggest agencies in the world.
I know, I'm looking at it right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
On Island Records, I see the whole thing.
Yeah, we signed to Island Records. We had a few hits there. Then we created our own record label, Get Twisted, which we sold to Sony Columbia, and we bought a load of artists through that as well. And yeah, I mean, it was just an incredible ride, an amazing experience. It's proof that you can have multiple careers in your life, right? You can do so many things, and it's important to remember that. Like, there's room out there for you. It's just finding something you're interested in. And then I was trading like more and more actively. I started off on I'm trying to think of what it was. There's an app where you can basically copy people's trading in the UK.
Sure.
So they build like a portfolio, and you can start to understand what the portfolio looks like. I started off in that, and I was teaching myself more and more and more, going down like the YouTube rabbit hole, and then a ton of courses. And then I moved to California, to Los Angeles. My wife took a job here, so we moved, and we touched the ground here 20 days before COVID. So we didn't know anyone. I was locked away. I actually flew back for a show in Manchester, and I was the last flight allowed back into America. Like the very last flight. It was crazy. And had I not gone back and played a show in Manchester in England,
you would have been stuck there.
Yeah, I would have been stuck because I got my visa while I was there. And if I hadn't done that, they would have thrown me out of the country. And like I've got friends here who didn't see their wives for like 2 or 3 years. Wow. So it was kind of nuts. And so I was like, well, there goes my Australia tour. That's gone. How long are clubs going to be closed for? Well, it turns out a really long time. And our record label, we were selling to DJs. Like most of the people that were buying our music were club DJs, right? So I just felt the squeeze. The profits started to come in. Fortunately, I've been smart, like with our money. Like we paid off our house back in the UK, so we were renting that out. We were debt free. We were living in Los Angeles. We were like, we'd make the most of it. So I was like, right, now's the time. You almost did this as a career before. Now you're going to do it. So I knuckled down, and first of all started in like trading small caps, which is what I was doing like to the back end of my DJ career. I was still like trading small caps, more of a swing position. And I was really focused on the short side of those. So I was like learning under various guys. Originally, I was starting trading like anything above 3 standard deviation on a daily and weekly chart. I was looking short for exhaustion. Sure. But then we got into a market where we were just crazy bullish out of the stimulus checks. And your 3 standard deviation moves became 4, 5, 6, 7, halt up. I was like, okay, I can't handle this. This is like crazy stressful. Let me re-educate. So I was like watching like Stephen Ducks and Investors Underground and stuff like that. Like usual stuff. And then I started moving up in terms of market cap for a bit less volatility. And that eventually brought me into the future space, like maybe like two or 3 years later. But by that time, I'd kind of developed a system because there was a handful of us, like some guys from like 7 Points Capital and one guy from S&B. We had like a private Discord room, and we were all short bias pretty much like 90% of the time, unless there was like a setup that we liked where, day 2 had held and we were looking for shorts to be trapped on day 3 and we were taking longs for the squeeze. And from there is where I started to develop my system. We all traded a very similar way. We were kind of volume SNR EMA based. Obviously with small caps, everything really is high time frame. You're looking for exhaustion levels from where people are trapped. And that is kind of how I trade today. It's the same thesis that I bought into what I've built as Flowzone and how I trade futures. It's basically playing people's pain points where they're trapped, and when there's no one trapped, doing your best to leave the market alone.
I love that. All right, so we need to deep dive that, but I have a couple of questions about the career so far.
Yeah.
So COVID kind of killed a lot of industries, killed a lot of businesses. That's where you made the transition. But before that, you said the DJ career was lucrative. How lucrative are we talking? And where was the money coming from? Was it coming from gigs? Was it coming from selling the music? Like, where was the money?
Yeah,
I'm sure people want to know.
So I'd say like 80% of the money comes from the show. So obviously, like record deals, you look like the bigger deals were 6-figure deals. The smaller deals, sometimes it like there's next to nothing there. It depends on the label. So our deal with Island was a pretty big deal. It was like originally it was an album deal, and we ended up doing probably like 12 records there, and then sold the label to Sony and was on a retainer there as well. And then shows were anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 a show, but on a good week you're doing 5 shows. Like there were
and the profit on those is good, like the profit margins.
Yeah, because you're a DJ. Like I'm turning up with a USB. I might have a tour manager with me, and that's kind of it. It's low cost. The tax man killed me. He took a lot
as
of the money.
He always does.
But yeah, it's lucrative that side. And then I still am. I'm a writer for Warner Chappell, so I still can write and produce for other people.
Nice.
So there's like various revenue streams, which gave me the capital to start up, especially when I moved to America, like PDT rule and all these things, which I don't think many of these new guys trading futures understand how lucky you are
they
to
have
step
no
in
idea.
this space without
They
that
have
pressure.
no idea.
Yeah.
Yes, bro, 100%. What did you do to get linked up with the guys from SMB and the other small cap guys that were short biased? How did you find them?
So I was back in the day, I was listening to Chat with Traders a lot, and I really liked Mike Katz.
Shout out to Aaron Fifield.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the OG.
The
bro.
OG.
Aaron's the
it was
OG.
Amazing. And he had loads of the 7 Points guys on. And so I'd be like looking those guys up and trying to hit them up on social media. And then I'd be posting my trades like way back on Twitter. I was like, I'm only going to find these people by like showing up. And eventually I got talking, and like a few of them, maybe they listen to this, I don't know, they're probably still in the space, but JJ Ryan was a great trader in that group, a guy called Laser Wolf, and the 3 of us got talking, and we got invited into like a small group of like, at the time there was like 5, and that probably spread out to like 10, and it never got more than that. And we were on mic every day. We'd be, looking at trade ideas, looking at the gappers. Our plays were really day 2 shorts, first red day shorts. That was mainly what we were looking like, 100% plus mover ideally. And we had Ross Cameron on a private channel, and we'd be taking the other side of him when we knew he was getting up.
Yes, dude. Shout out to Ross. He's like one of the most famous on YouTube, bro. Yeah. But it is interesting how the short guys, will fade guys like him all the time.
Well, like you knew, Absolutely. Look, he was trading enough size, and he had enough people in his room that would be following him in. And when he started thinking it was slowing down and getting stuck, it was normally like a pretty good turn, especially if it was a stock up on nothing, right? Like there's no news there. It's just gapping. It's ideal. Like a gap and crap. Thanks very much.
Yep. So one more DJ question, then I'll ask you my next trading question. Favorite club that you've ever played in?
Oh, dude, that's so hard. Everyone asks that. Well, my last ever show that I played was the main stage of main room of privilege, which is now called Universe, that they changed into Universe. So that's 13,000 cap.
Wow.
So I have fond memories of that. I had my wife with me and my two sister-in-laws, and yeah, we had a great time. And it was my birthday, so like that was probably right up
Oh
there. But
man.
yeah, like there are so many. Most of them in Ibiza, the fond memories. Like we,
Well, that's right. I mean, that's the clubbing capital of the world,
yeah,
bro. It doesn't
yeah.
stop.
Like
Yeah.
like I BBC Radio 1, we did Reading and Leeds on the final year that I was touring, and it was like us, Camel Fat, Fisher, who else was there? Maybe like Eli and Fur, like so many memories, and just hanging out backstage and having the best time. And yeah, like I can look back now really fondly. It's a tough industry. People don't
Dude, for
realize, like,
sure.
it's a slog. Like there's a lot of prep, there's a lot of hard work, it's political. You have to eat shit, and that's just how it is. And you don't always get what you deserve, unfortunately. And sometimes you get
Very
lucky.
true.
And I think the same with trading. Like, luck has a lot to play into it. Like, you can work really hard, but if your timing doesn't work out, if the market's not there for you, any market at all ever in life, if the market's not there for you, and if you're not in the market when it's going to be there for you, your timing's off. Like, it's just luck. It's just how it is.
Who's the most famous person you've met between DJing and trading? Because you've name dropped big
Oh
DJs.
man.
Now you name drop big traders. So who's the most influential person you've ever met?
I can remember we'd finished playing. I remember, like, this was. I'll tell you two stories. There's one breathtaking moment where we finished playing Ushuaia, and we went into there's like a green room out back. It must have been near the end of season. It must have been. And we went into the green room, and we were with a guy called Charlie Sloth, who's a hip hop DJ. I don't know if you know him. He's on like Apple
Mm-mm.
Music here, and Tiny
Okay.
Temper and a few others. And we went backstage, and we walked in, and it was like Guetta, Ingrosso, Calvin Harris. I'm trying to think who else. Afrojack, like all of them in this room, which is like as big as the office that I'm in now, surrounded by women, like just surrounded. And I looked at my buddy Steph, and I was like, "This is nuts, dude! Like, what is going on?" And then David,
That's one of those moments because the star power.
yeah, and like at the time, I think David was going through a divorce with Kathy Greta, and she had a show over the road at High, and he was like, "Okay, everyone, come with me. We're going to High," and like everyone's walking over together. I was like, "What is this? This is crazy." But my biggest pinch yourself moment was actually in Los Angeles. It would have been like when the clubs were first starting to open up again, and I'm good friends with Dom Dollar, and he was just like getting, like, it was his first US tour here. So when he landed here, we were having a party for a buddy of mine at a house, and like me and Dom got talking. We were on the same label in Australia back in the day. It was nice to catch up with him. And then he did his first big show. Big show back then for him was like 3,000. Now it's like 30,000, right? In the space of like 3 years, he's gone. And I was in his green room backstage, and I was pouring in tequila with my buddy Kyle. And the door opens. There's no one else in there, and this guy goes, "Can I have one of those?" And I turn around, and it's Lewis Hamilton, and I lost it, like, completely. Like, no words came out my mouth. I didn't know what to say. Exactly. And like my buddy Kyle, who's with me, I'd got him into F1. I'm a massive F1 fan. Dude, I don't think I said a word. For like 20 minutes, he hung out with us. Like, I didn't realize he was good friends with Dom. Nothing. Completely starstruck.
That is, I mean, now, dude, I mean, even then he was big. Now he's even bigger.
Oh, he's killing
right?
it.
Like,
And he's the nicest guy, so I'm so happy for him.
that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy. Dom Dalla, same thing. Blown up, bro. I remember when he first started making music, and I was in Arizona in 2021, and one of his remixes came up through Spotify. I was driving in Arizona with the convertible with my wife, and the sun was setting, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's got it." And I still remember that moment. And now look how big he is. Sometimes guys come up with unique sounds.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what has happened. Avicii had a sound. Like Cert Getta has a sound. You got to have a sound, right?
Yeah,
Would
you got to
agree
have
with
a
that?
sound, and like it's the same. You got to be in it long enough. Dom. I remember Dom playing like in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. It took 8-9 years. It took that long. 10,000 hours, as they say. Like,
Bro, I mean, That's same thing in trading.
Exactly.
Same thing. What's last DJ question? We could talk about this the whole podcast. What's your opinion of Avicii?
I feel like I really feel for him because I know, I understand that pressure. The push to do shows that you don't want to do, the mental
Yep.
and physical toll it takes. I mean, I was nowhere near this guy's level. And I remember doing like 21 flights in like 8 days and I needed a drip. Like I was bad. People don't understand that like you're living the life. You're not. You're living out a tiny suitcase, hotel, flight, drive, hotel, flight, drive, club. And I get it. So I don't think he was surrounded necessarily by the right people to look after him at the right times.
That's definitely what it was.
And I
100%.
think that can happen to anyone. Like it's tough. Yeah.
It's tough, man. He was the reason I became a DJ.
Really? Yeah.
When
I
that
mean,
I remember when what levels took
yeah.
over America, bro. I don't know. I was in high school. That changed. Everything went from hip hop music to now we listen to dance music at
Yeah.
parties. It was a turning moment. That song.
Yeah. Incredible artist. Incredible.
Incredible artist. Yeah. And I mean, even the artists that he worked with that became well known too, like just, yeah. Okay. Good reminiscing there, dude. Love it. So now 2020 happens, COVID happens, things start to transition in your life. You find LA, wife's got the new job. What are you doing that makes the transition from the penny stocks, the small caps, into futures? Why did you make that switch? Did something happen with futures, or did prop trading and futures trading just seem so appealing?
I got sick of being scattered across screens. So like trading the pennies was like, trade ideas, scanner up. You're looking for, what's running, what's your day two. Like the prep work is exhausting. And I found it hard to like be multitasking with so many stocks at once. I really struggled with that. So I started moving into the large caps, and then I stepped back quite a bit, and I pretty much solely traded SPY for a bit.
Okay.
Not on options, just on commons, and like some T triple Q, S triple Q. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much easier being focused on like one product in front of me. I'm not trying to like multi-manage. And I probably at that time in my career, I wasn't good enough to multi-manage. Like it was tough. And then a buddy of me actually reached out and he was like, you should check out these prop firms. I was like, this is too good to be true. Like this can't be right.
I said the
like,
same thing.
Come on, how does this work? Did my research, dabbled, started learning, got burnt the first few times because not really understanding like the rules, especially like trading drawdown or the sizing. And I had never traded futures before, so I had to get used to it. But once I got to grips with it, yeah, like I will never go back. And like I still invest and swing in like large caps and ETFs.
Mm-hmm.
But my bread and like for me, it's rinse repeat. Make your money from the futures, reinvest it. Make your money from futures, reinvest it. Simple.
100%. With the prop firm thing, what firm did you start with, and like who do you find most appealing right now? Who are you taking payouts from? Catch us up to like today.
Yeah, I think I started with Tick. I think that was the first one I ever started with. Yeah. Most of my trading is with Apex because I just love the scaling, and it's where I make most of my money. So like I take like 5 figures out every month consistently, without having to over leverage. And I don't have the maximum.
Well, with the scale that they give you, it's very doable.
That's it.
Right?
And
you're
like
probably trading
everyone,
20 accounts. I'm going to guess.
yeah,
right?
and everyone gets caught up with Apex about like the trailing drawdown, which is tough.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
It's tough, but if you can slow down and work your way through it, like it goes away. It's not there forever, and then you've got the buffer, and then you can breathe and let trades run and work. So it depends. Like, have you got the discipline and patience to trade through to build the buffer, and then to start taking consistent payout? Because once you get to first payout, it's like trading any other firm. It's way easier. So yeah, shout out to Apex. Like they've been a bit of a game changer for me. And then, the other ones really for me are like Traderify, Take Profit Trader. Those are like my sort of go-to 3.
Yep. I had Brett on the podcast before. I've had James that runs Take Profit on I haven't met anybody from Tick yet, but I know a couple of guys that got live accounts with them and stuff. So all those firms I think are good options for people. But specifically with Apex, they offer the most copy trading. And I know that's what's most appealing.
Yeah.
Would you recommend to like a person that's maybe on the fence, maybe they're like, they're trading a different market. They transition into this now as they're hearing more people talk about it. Should they jump all in with 20?
No.
Or like you said, you're going to hit some road bumps, start with
Yeah,
one?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
hell no. Like when you start, even if you're an experienced trader moving to futures, you're going to if you're going to trade prop, you're going to make errors because you're not going to understand all the rules and the leverage. So like I always think when you first move, you need to be playing the cheapest account you can play because you're going to blow it up. Like one singular account, keep your cost as low as possible, like learn the intricacies. And then you got to pick a firm which suits your style. Like if you are someone that likes to hold on to trades, if you're playing market profile, key level to key level and big expansive moves, like you don't want to be trading a trailing drawdown account because you're going to suffer unless you're trading
Yep.
micros, which is what I kind of encourage people to do when they start. Like trade micros, learn to build, scalp your way through it. But there's something out there for everyone now. And I really believe that. Like for me, a firm has to trade with Tradeify because I only execute with Tradeify with
Trade
8 because I only execute on
Yeah.
Ninja. So that's a must for me. Otherwise, I can't trade with them.
Is that because you're using the Replicanto, the copy trading
No,
software?
it's mainly because I like trading on Ninja and I don't want to move off it. And I've built my whole, although I have my system when I trade live on YouTube on TradingView, my system on Ninja is very, very good and very accurate. So I don't want to move off it. I just can't do it. I've
Yeah.
tried,
And you're
I traded with Top Step for a while and I traded Top Step X and I took
Mhm,
payouts. But I
mhm.
think for me, maybe it's changed, but for me, there's too many errors in the calculation of their VWAPs always off. The EMAs are always off. Like
Always
there's
off.
something always
Always
off. And
off.
I'm like, I don't want to trade with an inaccurate level. Like this is hard enough as a career as it is. I need to know my levels are accurate.
Yep. You mentioned that you're scalping. What does that look like? Everybody throws that word around, but some people think scalping is seconds. Some people think it's minutes. What is scalping to you?
I mean, for me, it's anything within a day, right? So I might
That's what I say too.
I might get a whole swing leg. Like sometimes it might take seconds or minutes if the volatility is high or if I get knocked
Sure.
out. But
Yep.
if I'm buying an area of interest for me, like let's say I'm buying a value area low from a previous session and it's proving itself, it might take the whole session for it to get up to my TP, and that's okay. But normally 2 or 3 hours max. Often I'm out of a trade in minutes, like 10, 15, 20
What
minutes.
what hours are you trading since you're in LA? Are you just trading New York
Yeah.
Open? Are you trading Asian
New,
session?
New York Open till lunch only. Very rarely I will trade an afternoon session. My stats are bad in the afternoon. I trade New York. I
Same.
trade New York morning. Well, probably because I'm tired by the afternoon, right? And I've got to ask myself if I'm there in the afternoon, why am I there? Probably had a shitty morning, so really I shouldn't be there. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so you mentioned micros as well. Are you thinking like if you're copy trading, especially, there's no need for the larger risk in the
Yeah.
minis? So spread the risk across multiple accounts is what it sounds
Yeah,
like you're going to say.
exactly. Like so many NQ traders are trading, 1, 2, 3 minis. You're in a 50K account. You got no right to be doing that because
Done.
you can forget
Right.
the 50K. You're playing with $2,500 in drawdown. Gone. Right.
Gone.
So take you earn that right by building the buffer, but you don't do that out the gate. Like 1 or 2 micro, the amount of times that NQ is going to give you 50 to 100 points a day is insane.
It's a
Even
lot.
on days with tight
Lot.
range, it's going to give you that.
Yep.
So 2
Yep.
micros, dude, you don't need more than that when you've got 5, 10, 15 accounts.
Being a guy that liked the volatility with the small caps, are you mainly trading NQ now?
Yeah, NQ's my bread and butter. Sometimes she annoys me, but she's my bread and butter. But I don't love the high volatility days. Like tomorrow's FOMC is a good chance I won't trade it. Like I'm expecting this week to pick up on volatility more and more and more, and I'm less and less and less interested. Like we're setting up for an amazing day tomorrow, based on my model, and FOMC will probably stop me trading it. So it just is what it is.
Talk to me more about that model. Like, and maybe just before you dive too deep, back up a little bit. Where does the flow zone idea like come from? Like you said, this kind of is how you were doing the small caps, but this is different too.
Yeah. So when we were trading small caps, everything was short side. So it was really looking at high time frame volume profiles, and like old anchored VWAPs where participants were stuck in the market, right? So if I'm short side trading small caps, I'm looking for where buyers are stuck. And then I'd be marking out those levels, and I'm looking for exhaustive moves up into those levels. Where I struggled with small caps, especially once we started running past 3 sigmas, is the moves would not respect these levels. They would not respect standard deviation, and I would get caught on the front side. You know, it's coming up. I want the best fill possible, so I'm front side. So I had to like completely change my way of thinking and be like, all right, how am I going to make sure I'm backside on a trade? Because I'm not interested in the front side. Early in my career, I'd get into an add scenario and can't be doing that. Worst habit
You'll
going.
get blown out. It'll keep going
Yeah,
higher, right?
especially in small caps, and the same with NQ. Like this, today's a perfect
Yeah.
example. Like caught those dip buyers off guard. They got so used to trading a market, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Today was
It
a clear
smoked them today.
signature. It wasn't going to do that, but they didn't learn, and now they probably a lot of them got liquidated. So yeah, I had to change my way of thinking, and the best way of me doing that was back testing based on EMAs. Everyone, it makes me laugh. Everyone's always like, an EMA is lagging, an EMA is lagging. Yeah, do you want to be first? I don't want to be first. I don't want to be late. I want to be right on time. And if I'm going to be anything, I'll happily be a little bit late, where I know what my risk is, than trying to be first in the market and guessing. So my system is really based on volume profile, SNR, and EMAs to let me know like when I think I'm good value. And then on top of that, I'm running anchors and stuff like that off key data points.
Any specific anchors you could share? Key data points meaning a news event.
Yeah,
You're
like
anchoring from a start of week, start of year, an earnings event, something like that, an
yeah,
FOMC.
exactly. Like any big red folder news that gets a reaction. So like a big CPI print, an FOMC print, like quarterly opens. Sometimes I'll check. I'm the same as you. I like everything I do is based on a New York session. So I kind of treat everything overnight as I respect it, but it's light volume, so I'm less interested.
Well, bro, those are your London people. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I
I'm
know.
just kidding.
Well, they're like if people in New York respect them too much. Like it's such light
It's
volume,
true.
right? So like you're the same as me. You anchor at 9:30, right? Every day.
Yep.
Same as me.
Yep.
Like I'm watching the ETFs because options players are playing the ETFs. Like for me, a gap fill is to the 4 o'clock close. I care about settlement. I care about cash players in the market. They're the main players in the market. There's people are not playing
Absolutely.
overnight. They are, but it's such light volume. So yeah, my system really it starts on the higher time frame. So like today was a good example. I always start on the daily. My daily is a standard Bollinger Band, a 20-day moving average SMA, which is middle of the Bollinger Band, so that's your mean, and then a 5-day to understand trend. So for me, like anytime we are above that Bollinger Band on a daily, the chances of staying up there are tiny. And today is a prime example. We opened up, we gapped through it, and we got sliced. No one wants to buy 2 standard deviations up on an ETF or on a futures. So today was likely to be a pullback day. And then I'm looking at volume profile, previous day, previous week. Okay, where do I think value is? Who's stuck, and how do I trade back to there? And that's when I start getting down into lower time frames of like, where is my hourly EMA? Where do I think this market wants to pull back to? And then I'm looking to execute super low time frame to give me the smallest risk possible to get down to there. That's kind of it.
How many trades a day will that give you?
I don't like trading more than 3 a day. Like if I'm shooting more
Okay.
than 3 goes a day, then
Something's up.
yeah, I'm probably scratching for something that isn't there. I don't mind having like, let's say I have like a few attempts at the same trade and it knocks me out a few times. If the trade's valid, that's fine. The problem for me is personally as a trader, I know my ticks and I know what puts me on tilt. Too many break evens is a major issue for me. So if I take 2-3 break evens in a row, I'm going to call it. Even though I know that move's probably coming, I'm not going to trade that move well because I'm going to chase the move down a little bit or oversize or not do enough risk analysis or enough that puts me on tilt that I'm not interested. And that's just from experience of knowing what shifts me out,
Does that mean that your win rate will be a little lower,
No,
but
the
your risk, your arm, it's the
the
opposite?
opposite. Yeah, my win rate's high. I shoot like between 68 and 73%.
That's about where I'm at.
Yeah, so I shoot high. I'm aggressive when for me, I'm playing location momentum. So if we're in a location I like, if momentum's shifting into, you know, a wave that I want to be a part of, I should be right pretty quickly. And if I'm not, that's when I'm going to take a break even or a 1 hour or half an hour loss. And if I'm right, it probably adds up into my win rate. So my win rate's high.
Okay.
It doesn't always mean I get my full TP. It like I can
Sure.
win with it being half an hour, 1 hour. It doesn't quite make it,
Yep.
if that makes sense.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about the R
Yeah.
multiple as much. What are you doing with the stop loss to bring it to break even that you're taking to break even? Are you trailing it aggressively, or are you just closing the trade if it moves into profit and then turns back quickly?
Yeah.
How are you breaking even?
So like if it's an account with out of trail, well, I don't have to worry about trading drawdown. If I get an let's say like most of the time I'm not trading reversals, but I'm trading like the first bounce away from it. I don't want to pick a top, I don't want to pick a bottom, which is why I built the flow zones, right? So I'll get a sell signal. Let's say we're peaking up the top like today, we trap buyers at the top, we move below it, I'm looking for that first bounce in versus where the buyers are trapped, and I'm not picking that top either. I want to see a reaction, right? I want to see like two tries,
Turn.
ideally a turn, and then I'm going to enter with my stop at the top of that turn. The moment I see like momentum coming in, whether that's on the book map, on the dom, on the candles, I don't care. I want to see aggressive selling at that point. The moment I see that big expansive move to the downside, my stop's going break even because it's got no reason to come back. If it's coming back to a good entry, if I've taken a good entry, if it's coming back there, there's absorption on the tape, and I don't care. I'll get out and I'll reanalyze it a couple minutes later. Like maybe it needs one more leg, one more trap. That's kind of how it is. If I'm right, someone should be trapped in the market. I should get momentum coming.
Interesting. So if you're looking at it from a perspective of like reacting and flipping that quickly, doesn't sound like you're going to be biased to one side of the market at all, right? It seems more like you're going to react and trade either way.
Um, I'd say most mornings I've got like an and if or scenario. So like,
Okay, explain that.
all right, so it's hard to explain without showing, but like let's say today we ran up all night in Asia and London off some Nvidia chip news. So we were gapping up on the NQ over all-time highs. ES was relative weakness over all-time highs. I look at the rest of the Mag 7, 6 of the Mag 7 outside of Nvidia are trading inside their previous day range. So I'm like, okay, so we've got one stock dragging the NQ up. I have a look at that stock.
Yep.
Okay, here are the levels on that stock. If that stock starts pulling back and going for a gap close, NQ is going to fail with it. So I'm instantly like, we have an and if scenario. Either we pull back and we hold and trap all the sellers who were caught yesterday, but I already think they're blown out the market, which is why we've been pushing up. So now my thesis at that point is if we trap bulls at highs, we're going to see an expansive move up out the gate. Bulls are going to chase into that move. The moment we come below where they've been chasing, that's their pain point. I then want to return back in and I want to see a sell at that point. If we return back into that level and we don't see sellers, then I'm going to assume that shorts have just got trapped underneath and I'm going to play the other way inside. And that's the same for every time
That makes
frame.
sense.
Like today we've traded from all-time highs, trap the buyers at highs. Sorry, I'm just looking at my screen. Trap the buyers at
Yeah.
highs. We broke beneath 570, 580 was kind of the trigger. 23,570, 580. We traded all the way down to previous week value area high, previous day value area low, and previous day low. So buyers got trapped at the highs. We come back. All we're doing is back testing a level where buyers are comfortable at. Everyone in between is Asia and London and dip buyers in New York session who just decided they were going to ignore the tape today and be like, hey, we're going to keep going up. We're going to keep going up. Why? It doesn't need to at this point. It needs a breather. That's kind of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you, when you say tape, are you looking at Bookmap? Are
Yeah.
you looking at the act? Yeah, Bookmap.
Bookmap for me. Yeah. I'm a visual guy, right? So like
Wow.
for me, it's Bookmap. And if anyone's watched my flow zones, like they're color based. And I do not fight them. Like if they are in a cell, I don't care what I think. I'm not fighting them. It has to
What is a flow zone specifically?
Fibonacci rolling EMAs. So 13, 21, 34 are your main ones, then pullbacks, and then there's some like way higher time frame EMAs, which are basically back tests on 15 minutes and hourly bars. So out of back testing, I know the market. Let's say we go into a sell. When if we're in a strong sell, when the buyers come in, we're going to go and back test a key level roughly on those time frames, and you'll get confluence there. That we go in a strong sell, we do a first bounce. That point is coming into, it's going to be one of my EMAs, and it's probably going to be like an old point of control, or you get everything matches up. It's just confluence for me. Can I find an area of interest that I think this is a high probability follow on short, or this is a high probability dip buy into a level?
Would you consider this a reversion strategy or a trend following strategy?
Uh,
Because it sounds like a bit of both. Because like you're using the guidance of the flow zone as the trend
Yeah,
almost, right?
so I'm playing intraday trend, and whether it's reversion or trend really depends on the daily model. So, like today was effectively a mean reversion to the 5-day moving average from a Bollinger. Um,
Right.
the rest of the time we've been in trend. We've just been expand higher, expand higher, expand higher. Like I drill this into my students. I am not in the business of picking a top or a bottom. That is a hero trade for like an idiot. Like you don't need to be that guy. There's so much meat on the bone between that. Like just go and eat, dude. Like stop trying to post that picture on Twitter being like, "Hey, I picked it." Great, you picked it once out of 100. Show the other 99 where you blew up.
Dude, I feel like that's like the ICT guys all the time. They want to have that perfect entry instead of just take your chunk, get out of here. That's what I try to preach to everybody is like, get some of the move. You're never going to get all of it. You're never going to get all of them. So just take some and get green and get out.
Yeah,
My advice is always like, you want to have green days to get payouts. So taking this information from your strategy and simplifying it down as best as you possibly can makes it repeatable.
yeah.
But then what would you say to the guys that want to take payouts trading in a similar fashion? What do you think are the keys to taking payouts? Like I said, mine is get green. When you are talking and streaming and showing people how you trade, what are the keys to the strategy that make it successful?
I think like for me, it comes down to like a few things. Like understand market condition number one. So like are we in a trend day? And there's like lots of easy ways of understanding that. Like are we above or below initial balance? Are we trading an inside day? Okay, identify that. Okay, we're an inside day. You're not in a trend. You're going to be, you know, stuck, and you should be trading the edges. If we're in a trend, you're looking to join trend. So the first thing is identify the conditions,
Okay.
and trade it accordingly. I think the second thing is for newer traders is they try and do too much. Like you need one setup to be good. You don't need to be able to do it all. Like I have people in my group who, um, they hate the short side. They really struggle and they want to learn it. I'm like, why do you want to learn it? You don't need to learn it. Like if you're good at longs, stick to it. Ignore the days where it's short. Hey, guess what? The market normally goes up more than it goes down. So if you're better at longs, you're already stacking yourself in a 70-80% favor.
Great
And then I,
advice.
I agree with you. Like it's base hits. Like stop. I came from competitive sport, and and my background in psychology, and obviously having a good career in DJing. And like my biggest gripe with social media and with some of these prop firms with the leaderboard, you are setting people up for failure because you are
Great.
enticing them to try and compete. And you cannot compete in this industry. Like the moment you bring that competitive mentality of I have to win at all cost, you're doomed. Like you are set up for failure. Like that.
Because it sets you up to put on more risk, not defend your
Yeah,
capital.
or like, hey, I've been guilty of it, especially recently. I was like, hey, I'm going to size up to the 250Ks. Like, I can do this. I'm going to size up. I'm outside my comfort zone, and I go from making like five figure, five figure, five figure to suddenly like struck. Why? Because I want to post it on Twitter. Like, who cares? My job is to put food on the table, right, and to pay rent, and like, our job is to have a long career in this, not to have a piece of content which looks good. And I think
It is super toxic.
yeah, big time. And I think that's why I'm not like as prolific in the space because I dislike a lot of the toxicity that comes with it. And I understand it's great for content and all this stuff, but for me, I need to be in a calm, like in my comfort zone when I'm trading. And that's what all the new traders need to do. What's your setup? Be able to name that setup and see that setup and only trade that. Like a book which changed a lot for me was Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. I don't know if you've ever read that. It's like a 3 hour
No.
stupid book. Like it's fun and
Okay.
silly. But the premise of it is when you're trying to get good at golf and you're trying to go around a golf course, when you start off, you might be good with like 6, 7, 8 iron. So what are you doing getting a driver out? Like the chances of you getting that driver out and hitting it 300 yards down the fairway are less than 1%. But the chance of you hitting your 5, 6, 7 straight and setting up and being closer to a par is more. It's the same premise in trading. Like if you are good at a first pullback long, or if you are good at, hey, I'm going to take an anchor VWAP short when we come back into it and we're in a sell day. Great. Why are you trying to do anything other than that if that's what you're good at? Like, just wait for it.
Yeah, well, it's because people want to trade sometimes more than they want to make
Yeah,
money.
totally.
The short-term gratification that they receive from placing the trade is more important to them than the long-term satisfaction of the payout. I like what you said too about, the five-figure monthly payouts. That's something everybody, I think, wants. A lot of people that would change their
Yeah.
lives, especially some of the audience that's not in, America or California, especially. But to go to five-figure months, you first have to take your first few payouts. Do you remember your first few payouts and what size they were that kind of got the ball rolling for you? Because remember, I'm sure there's people, I would say even maybe over 50% of the audience that has not taken a payout yet.
Yeah. I'd say the first ones were on Top Step, actually, going back quite a few years. And
Hmm.
yeah, like I encourage anyone who's never taken a payout, the moment you can take the payout, take it, take that payout because it needs to feel real.
Yes.
And what it will do for your confidence is massive because suddenly you're like,
Yes.
I can do this, right? You don't have that, fraud mentality when someone asks you what you do and you don't want to say trader because you haven't made money. Like it changes that. It starts to feel real and you build that self-confidence to be like, I can do this. Like if you can make $500 by sticking to your rules, you can make 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. It becomes endless because then it's just a game of size and
Of
scale
scale.
slowly. Yeah.
Right.
That's all it's a game
Yes.
of.
Yeah. What do you say to the brand new traders? Do you have them trade like, because I know you're teaching people, do you have them trade paper accounts? Do you have them trade, personal capital, or do you say jump right in with the prop firm? What's the best way? Because you mentioned like telling people what you do, and I get people. I had a couple of guys come to my house. We just moved into this new place, and I got people fixing stuff up, and they're like, "So what do you do?" And dude, I hate telling them that I'm a day trader because then they're in sales, and then they want to talk to me about it, and I don't want to
Yeah.
talk to them about it. So, but I inevitably do. But I tell all of them to start with a demo account. I don't tell anyone to even do copy trading or even buy a
Yeah.
prop account. I'm like, if you've never traded before, start with paper
Yeah.
money. So what's your steps for people that are
Ex-
that new?
exactly the same demo account because
Yeah. Yeah.
even take learning the market out of it. You got to learn the software. So
Right.
it's like learning Photoshop or anything like, and it's a really steep learning curve for someone who's never done it.
It is.
Just like the
Yeah.
basics of like, how do I put a limit in? How do I put my stop in? What about a market stop? Like
Right.
all of it is so overwhelming when they start. So I'm the same
Yeah.
demo account for ages, like because the rush to move off that because you think you're going to make money is way too quick. Like you've got to learn absolutely everything you can without having risk exposure in the market. Once you
Yes.
have built, and this is the other problem, the amount of traders that do that, but they're not trading their demo account like they should. They're just like, I don't care, it's not real. I guess at
Right.
that point, you have to move them to a prop firm. Like I say, the cheapest one possible, because you're going to learn. You're going to learn and burn. Like you're going to go
Yes.
through those accounts because you probably haven't put the time in first.
You said
So,
it
like,
so
yeah,
well.
like for me to be successful in this career, to have longevity, you need to give yourself the best possible chance, which means you need to minimize your risk exposure early on because you're going to mess up, whether you're trading futures or Bitcoin or stocks or small caps. It is a steep learning curve. It's the hardest job in the world, which has no ceiling and the biggest rewards. So it's worth giving it the maximum possible time, which to most people, if they're in another job, means slow down and size down. It's really that simple. Pay your dues, slow down, size down until you've got your 8 iron that you can get around in a course. And once you've done that for months, then you can start looking at another setup.
Yes. Love the analogy. Are you a big golfer?
I'm a horrible golfer.
Same. I'm the 8-iron guy all the way,
Yeah.
bro. Don't put that driver in my hand unless I'm hitting somebody with it. I'm not hitting that
Yeah.
ball straight. That's for sure. Why do you think trading is so hard? You mentioned there trading is hard. What about it is difficult? Because again, not that I want to make this a podcast just for new traders, but I think everyone that's traded will agree, yeah, it's difficult. But what about it makes it difficult, and what have you done to overcome those difficulties?
I think for me, it goes against a lot of the ways we're brought up on our psychology. I actually remember the
Agreed.
first time I talked to you, I reached out because I think you'd done a podcast or you were talking to someone about a psychology coach. And
Yep.
I was like, have you used them? How are they?
Yep.
And that was the time actually when I was looking to size up. And I was like, I cannot size up here. I'm struggling to size up. So I think my theory is that most of us inherently are competitive in some way or fashion. We're competitive, and that starts as a kid, and it doesn't matter what sex you are, what age you are. At some point, you've either got a rivalry with someone at school or college, or your brother or your sister or whatever. There's a competitive instinct in us, right? And that is already in the way of you trading. So this mentality of that and how we're brought up to you need to be the best, that inherent pressure, whether that's coming from parents, friends, teacher, or within, which for me it was very much within. And then you put on top of that any upbringing issues. Like, so if you come from a broken home, maybe there's an issue there of like you didn't have enough. That's me talking about me. Like you didn't have what you wanted growing up. Well,
Right.
you're creating an ideology in your head of like, well, I need to get that. And you're not building a timeline narrative which is reasonable of like how to get there. So I think trading becomes hard because you're stepping in a world where we are swimming with whales and sharks. Like we are tiny little fish in this ocean, and our egos might get ahead of us, but there's someone way bigger and way smarter than us, the other side of the trade all the time. And once you realize that your dreams and aspirations need to be put into a timeline, and that timeline needs to be long to give you a chance to kind of work your way through how do I stop taking max losses? How do I stop adding into losers? How do I stop being attached to what my trade should be because I think it should be that because I've got an ego? How do I stop oversizing because I want to make more money because my buddy on social media posted he made it? Like that's why trading's hard. It's that game. And like I really think you could take a kid who has no understanding of financial obligations and teach them a strategy which you know wins X amount of time, and they'll do it way better than an adult. Like, of course they will, because they don't understand the implications of finance. And I think that's why.
So it's like the perspective that you're saying of how different people, because of their background and because of what they're influenced by, their perspective on the timeline. That's what makes it
Yeah,
hard.
that definitely. And like my feeling is trading will teach you more about yourself than anything else. Like
Oh
if you're a
yeah.
new trader, you probably don't think you're greedy. You probably are. You just haven't been put in a place where you can be, right? You probably think you're good at
Yes.
risk management, or you're not. Like you don't know until you're put in that hot seat. And then it really exposes you. And like, can you look yourself in the mirror and be like, at the end of each day, like I traded that appropriately? Like it's really tough. I think it's just psychological warfare against the best people in the world, and half of them are computers right now.
And yourself. It's even
Absolutely,
like,
mainly against
psychological
yourself.
against your,
Yeah,
because like think about too, like if you go a little deeper on your point about the toxicity of social media, it makes you disingenuous to your trading. It makes you more degenerate with your trading when
absolutely.
everyone's winning and all you're doing is chasing wins instead of buying in on the process. I'm from Philly, and when the Sixers were good, the basketball team, they were like, trust the process, trust the process. That was what they were saying. Now, the Sixers never won the championship, so the process wasn't that great. But the point of the trust the process, I say it all the time still because I think about it as like your timeline is probably off.
Yeah,
Like you said it best. And to the new and up and coming traders, the struggling trader, your perspective on that timeline probably holds you back. But when you let go of it, if you let go of the things you're talking about and you ease up almost like stop needing the
yeah,
wins, stop needing the money, it actually will start to come to you better,
yeah.
right? Like how often do you see a guy put himself with his rent on the line, back against the wall, quit his job, go all in on trading, and it works out for
Yeah,
him with not a lot of savings.
it doesn't
It's
happen, and
difficult.
if it does, you got lucky, and it's probably not there 2-3 months later, right? Because you
100%.
probably got in with bad habits, and it just worked out that one time. Yeah, we like
Exactly.
I had this conversation with my students, especially the new ones. I mean, it's probably the same for you. The normal question is, how long till I'm profitable? I don't know, dude, because it depends on the work that you're going to put in and the type of character that you're going to put in. Like, there's so many variables on it.
What's the fastest you've seen somebody go from not profitable to payout,
3
like
months,
first payout?
3 months,
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
but they're young. It's always the same
Yeah,
story. They're young. They're
really
like they have low rent or no rent, right? Like
huge.
the external pressures are not there.
Yeah.
I think it makes a difference, and their personality actually in both occasions has been quite introverted. Interestingly,
Well, dude, I have the opposite. I have a couple of guys that are older, already making a lot of money, and then they need to make that same money from trading, and they have to balance the scale of the copy trading and then trying to make that much money from prop firms. That's difficult,
yeah,
right? Like when you're taking some of these kids, like I get what you're saying. They're younger, they don't need to make as much. 5 grand for some of those kids is a huge
yeah,
month. 5 grand for some of my guys, they want 5 grand a week.
yeah. That's
You
it.
know what I
Like
mean?
most of my students are probably 40 to 60, and then the ones that are
Yeah.
young, you can see. Like there was one the other day. He's like posting
Yep.
his big wins, and I'm like, there's no inherent pressure there. Like he can, if
No, the
that,
40-year-olds and the 60-year-olds don't do that anymore, bro. They've already made money. When you get older, you're like, I don't want even people to know about it, let alone like brag
that's
about
it.
it. Cause as soon as you start doing that, you're gonna
Yeah,
lose it. You know what I mean? It comes and
yeah,
goes. Money comes and goes.
totally,
Yeah.
totally agree.
Okay. Dude, great tips. I take timestamp notes when I do these podcasts. I got a ton of notes from you. Let me ask you one last question. Then I think what we'll do is we're putting a pin in it and we're gonna do a part two, hopefully in person, maybe in
Yeah, that'd be
October. We'll
awesome.
see. You're gonna be somewhere, right? Didn't we talk about October in
Yeah, I'm
LA? Didn't
trying
you
to.
say you're
I
going
don't
somewhere?
know if I'm going to be in Europe. It's like up in the air at the moment.
Okay.
But if I'm here, I'm
If you're
definitely
not
coming.
there, then we'll meet up.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah, we'll
sure.
meet up for sure. My last question was going to be, as now someone that is teaching and clearly enjoys teaching and the value that brings to you, the fulfillment that brings to you, what would you say to yourself? Not even like futures prop trading, the start there, all the way back before when you met the guys at SMB in the chat rooms. And all, what would you tell yourself getting into trading other than like, hey, have a long timeline, have a long time horizon. Don't expect this to come quick. Is there anything else you would say to yourself that maybe would help you lose less or make more?
I, no, it's always the same answers because it's always de-risk and give yourself time, and it's always about those two things because they're the only probabilities in trading. And I guess that the key changing point that took me to profitability was like I always, and this is anyone who tell you trades with me, I say the same thing: location, momentum, location, momentum, location, momentum. This is all you need to care about. If you are trading in a bad location, you're setting up to fail. It doesn't matter what asset you're trading. And if you are trading in, a good location, you're setting up to win. The next question is, what is the momentum in that location? And if you are going against the momentum, it doesn't matter if it's a good location. How many times have we seen it slice straight through something? So I think that would be it for me, especially going back to those small cap days. It was like I'd trade in good locations, but the momentum was like just cutting me in half. And I had to learn the hard way. There was no one to back me back then. That was real dollars going straight up in smoke.
Yeah, well, at least you were DJing and rolling in it
Yeah.
at the time, so it was good. So, like, it is another way to say that, like, price and
Yeah.
time matter, not just one or the other.
Yeah. Like, definitely. Definitely. Like, for me, it's price, time, volume is the next thing. Like,
Volume,
like,
right? Because there's your momentum,
yeah,
right?
like, who's trapped? And like, if you,
Yes.
before every trade, if you can put yourself the other side of it and just think, okay, if I'm,
I've been trying to do that
yeah,
more.
like if you're looking to get long, okay, if you're short and someone's short, like where are they stuck? Okay, here they're
What
stuck.
are they thinking? Right, where's their
Where's their
stop?
stop?
Right,
Where's
yeah.
their pain point? Like all we're ever doing is trading pain points, right? Because if you think about every swing high and swing low, that's someone's stop, that's someone's pain point. So
Yes.
can we take their pain and then can we use it and hurt them even more? And then can you make money not in all that move, just in some of that move, and then be happy,
Right.
bank it, and go and do something else. Do not be in front of the screens all day long every day. You're going to burn out. I think that's the other thing. The burnout is real. There's a fine
Yeah.
line between wanting to learn trading and being obsessive where it's taking over way more of your life than you realize. Like if you're that guy who
Great
should
point.
be holding your wife's hand and you're on your phone all the time, there's a problem there. You need to look at it, because you should be doing this for freedom, financial and time freedom. And if those aren't in
100%.
alignment, you're going to lose more than some money.
Oh, with the fire at the end there, Alex. I love it. You're right, bro. Don't get your girl pissed off. Everybody got some dating advice out of this episode too, so it's good. Guys, what we'll do is I'm going to link to all of Alex's stuff down below so you can check out the Flowzone, watch him trade live, the whole thing, right, Alex? You're on YouTube, you're doing your thing.
Yeah, free on YouTube Monday to Friday, and then private course and Discord community.
Cool. So we'll make sure there's links for all that. But until next time, everybody, make sure you follow Alex. Thank you guys for being here, staying all the way through. Alex, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Great tips. Really, really great episode. But until next time, everybody, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.